Dorothy the Jerboa is a morally correct and upstanding member of society who has done nothing wrong whatsoever. She is one of the kindest operators in the game. Also, she's hot. After coming off my well-earned and very legit victory over FCA Neblana, by sheer coincidence, Dorothy's vision was rerunning on the CN server, so having achieved total victory over What the Firelight cast, full of hubris that surely will not immediately come crashing down, I set my sights on Dorothy, the event, and set on my journey to beat it lore accurately. This being a rerun, there are operators that are now in the game that were not before, but still show up in the story. Since Mumu gets immediately headshot by Saria, and Holhea is scary and makes me feel weird, they're not on the team due to violent head trauma and my own fear of the psycho snake lady. I am also missing regular science, and I through sheer willpower resist the urge to bend the rules and decide to not put her alter form in. This leaves me with Talopsis, a support Saria, and Dorothy herself as my team heading into the story stages. In DV1, I immediately noticed the sheer amount of enemies that appeared on the stage. The little coom triangles are not hard to deal with, and the coom squares are not that much harder either. The basic grunts with a 1 damage shield are also easy to take down and will surely not cause any amount of annoyance in the future. But of course, this was an easy stage to clear. In DV2, I immediately hit my first roadblock. With the rush of enemies on the left side, Saria's slow with Dorothy's mines are only able to hold the first rush. Dorothy targeting the left side also means that I need to use the mines to destroy the shields for the basic runs, leaving less mines for the left side, all leading to me failing the second stage. Surprised, but not deterred, I continue thinking this merely a fluke and I surely will not have to resort to drastic measures already, and proceed to fail 3 more times. A sudden need of resorting to drastic measures overcame me, but someone in chat asked me about Dorothy's module, which I did not own. Since I hit a roadblock on the second stage, this leads to me justifying the massive expense that is a module upgrade. With my will to live disappearing almost as fast as the LMD from my account, I acquire a max module Dorothy. After 30 minutes and with my newfound power, I was able to clear the second stage of the event fairly easily with only my resources and will to live as sacrifices. DV3 at first glance looked to be quite a hard stage to deal with since it now introduces the big punchy boy Gundams that will kill my Saria if they get woken up. However, the stage went rather smoothly with Dorothy solo holding the right lane and Saria blocking the left. Things did get a little scuffed at the end since my E1 Talopsis can't heal the punchy boy's damage, but it turned out alright. DV4 is another dangerous looking map due to the big punchy boys on the left side. This map introduces another mild annoyance of an enemy, that of the engineers that heal the Gundams. They are easy to deal with in this map due to them spawning in the red box that's right in front of Dorothy. The long lanes also make Dorothy's traps much more effective and easier to use. All in all, another easy stage clear. I also reeve Ashley for completing this stage, and that boosts the power level of my team. Burb so nice I have her twice. Since I did not think I have spent enough, I decide to E2 both Ashley and Talopsis. I immediately face the consequences of my actions by entering economical ruin to gain a slight boost in power to compensate for my sheer incompetence. In DV5, I immediately fail. On the second attempt, I almost self-sabotage due to my indecisiveness. This is when a second Dorothy appears out of the red box. As Jerbo is so nice, I have her killed because she's obviously a sus imposter among us, because my Jerbo is morally correct and can never be considered a villain or an enemy by the game. That's just not possible. After having disposed of the heretic that was posing as a kind Jerboa, I beat the stage with some lucky extra damage mines to beat the final Gundam that woke up. In DV6, 4 spooky looking Gundams are spawned in the middle of the map. Dorothy can solo hold her own lane, but I gravely underestimate the right side rush and how tight the DP is in the first 2 waves of enemies, causing me to retreat Ashley and losing my DPS on the Gundams. With this blunder of a miscalculation, I don't have enough DP to redeploy Ashley, and to make things worse, a Gundam gets activated. Some sick fuck degenerate decided that some of the Gundams needed a rocket launcher that hits 4 of your ops across the entire map, so I'm gonna sit and watch as my entire team gets pulled out like Old Yeller and gunned down one by one, leading to my first failure. After another 3 failures, I decide that an Ashley pod will change my entire game plan due to the -1 deployment cost. It didn't work, I failed. But, after that failure on my successful attempt, I got lucky early on in the stage with a bonus damage mine that allows me to get barely enough DP to deploy Saria to block the 3 coom triangles, leading to another tight Saria skill to save Ashley from dying to a repair engineer. With some good timing, a mine slows the top right triangle enough to where a single mine can hit both triangles coming out of the top right lane, not letting them reach the Gundam. I clean up the last 7 enemies rather smoothly, leading to a close and scuffed clear. DV7 is a stage of all time. Unsurprisingly, I immediately fail by misplacing Sari on the bottom lane, letting the big Coom balls go right by, waking up the Gundams. As it all falls apart as more Gundams get activated, they gun down my poor operators like they were an average American. Luckily for me, I start getting closer on subsequent attempts, always losing to the last few Gundams, putting my team down. I spend the next 35 minutes losing at the same exact point, always getting a little bit closer, but making small minor mistakes that always lead to my loss. It started to make me think maybe my Jerboa might be a little silly and unintentionally evil about making those Coom objects that power these Gundams. Eventually, in my winning attempt, I start putting mines on the middle lane to start damaging the rocket Gundams early while using Sari's skill early so it can be up for the last wave to maximize my damage output. With the last wave incoming, I use Sari's skill to slow the Coom ball in the bottom lane, allowing me to kill it before it reaches the Gundam to wake it up. Sari's skill also helps damage amp the Gundams coming down the right lane enough to where it leads to an easy cleanup, the stage ending with me questioning if the Jerboa truly did nothing wrong. DV8. I have finally reached the end. Entering the map, I had a neuron blast of memory that came a little too late. Wait, doesn't it do damage based on how many people are on the field? Aw, shit! Fuck. After my first defeat, I immediately give up on attempting to clear the stage with my current team and head to the drawing board to weigh my options. After looking over my options, I succumb to peer pressure from someone in chat and choose the rolling option. My lack of will results in 3 lost pulls for a character that is not even good. Returning to the board, I choose option 2, due to me getting word of Moomoo's recovery and my attraction besting my fear of the Snake Lady. With my newly added firepower, I enter the stage full of renewed confidence. It immediately falls apart, destroying what little faith I have in myself to beat the stage. So the problems. With the major blast of the boss putting all my operators down to 1 HP, healing becomes an issue. The Gundams in the middle need to be dealt with since if the Rocket Boy wakes up, I have to watch my entire team get gunned down. However, the repair engineer heals the top right Gundam enough to where my team can't burst it down quick enough. After trying many different placements for the Snake Lady, Gray joins the team due to my increasing copium. The one positive thing coming from these attempts is that with Moomoo's skill active, she can bind the Coom balls long enough for Holhead to kill it before it can activate the Rocket Gundam. After almost an hour of attempts and getting the closest I ever gotten, I head back to the drawing board. After drawing a second and third Jerboa, I fully move into copium mode to figure out what will be the deciding factor that will allow me to beat this cursed stage. So the problem, the top right Gundam, yes that's a Gundam, always survives with essentially 1 HP and it always gets healed. After mapping it out, we know that around 18 kills is when the first wave finishes, so I need to finish off the Gundam before that. With all this info on the board, I leave with no better of a plan to actually win, a level 45 Gray and just more copium. With this major upgrade in both level and planning, I immediately lose, and I am thrust straight back into the copium corner. After 20 minutes of bashing my head against the wall and an extra roll for good measure, I decide that Silence is going to do her best Limbus Company impression and join the team. With Silence Alter, I need to be more mindful of the skill cycling since that's the only time she's able to heal and keep her and Holheya alive. What I did not expect was how much more DPS Silence would add, since we killed the boss way too quickly, leading to both remaining Gundams waking up. Both are taken down rather quickly, which for me counts as solving as one of the problems on the list. It also shows that there's light at the end of this tunnel. While the light is shown, the next problem pops up. How am I going to survive the second phase? What are the timings for retreating and redeploying? And how am I going to deal with the last big shooty boy? And with my last thoughts before the next try being maybe putting people into a vegetative state and transporting their minds to the Matrix to solve inequality and depression, thus stealing their right to, being alive, probably makes you a villain even if you have no ill intent, which means the Jerboa has done something wrong. With the next attempt, I move around my operators. Moomoo's blob moves back 1 tile to make better use of her clones, and Dorothy moves farther away thanks to her thickness and Silence's shelter effect. She's able to survive 3 explosions. Unfortunately, I am too slow at retreating and redeploying Silence that her skill is not up in time and is sacrificed to the great floating abstract art. Gray is also sacrificed to the art. Moomoo is able to stay alive thanks to the duplicating clones and her skill refreshing them if they ever go down. An early Snake Lady skill activation spells the beginning of the end, and ultimately my team perishes to the last 2 enemies. While losing for 30 minutes in a row, at the same point in time, I was mentally kicking up a solution, and then I arrived at an answer. I start with the same placement for everyone except Colossus, placing her next to Moomoo so she can heal Dorothy. With Asara's skill to heal Moomoo, I leave it to the clones to body block for Moomoo so she can survive till I put Silence down. With a great deployment to mitigate damage, I replace Silence with Ashimi to deal as much damage as I can. But then, the boss teleports, combined with the Rocket Gundam, they wipe 3 of my operators, leading defeat the only thing I can see in the future. Oh no.
我不会让你们走近，我答应过大家。
Not again, it's happening again. However, coping is what I'm best at, so I tell myself I can bring it back. Gray comes in clutch once again to mitigate damage of the explosion, allowing Moo to live, but an early retreat for DP comes the sacrifice of Telopsis. Saria's skill heals Moo and slows the Gundam enough for Moo to get her skill, to stall the Gundam more and mitigate more damage with clones taking most of the rockets. Whole High is deployed to tack on even an extra % of damage, to which he is immediately killed by the modern art piece. Dorothy is also deployed to deal extra damage, and in an attempt to throw the entire run away, I retreat Saria thinking that the robot would reach the mine and kill both the boss and itself. But unsurprisingly, instead this backfires on me, leading to Dorothy being mercilessly gunned down, and Mumi being taken out by the boss itself too. In a totally planned and thought out turn of events, Silence kills the boss by herself, and with my Saria retreat, gives me enough TP to deploy Ashley, in which with their combined efforts kill the last enemy, earning me my well said, "Fuck you!" Oh man. With victory as the best reward I could ask for, I leave this challenge with my account supplies left in a pile of ashes, but with my will to live restored. Ashley being an MVP, she receives her skin as a reward. Having finished and besting my maybe not so legitimate victory over Reed's hot twin, looking back on it, Dorothy did nothing wrong and is morally correct and upstanding. Jokes aside, this was much harder than Reed's event. Even though I had a wider selection of operators, and I actually beat the boss at the end, for my 0-80 brain, I felt it was a bit harder working on the global damage, microing Dorothy placements, and just dealing with the onslaught of enemies that came packaged with the event mechanics. I did attempt the EX stages of the event, but I unfortunately ran out of time before I had to leave for 10 days, so those did not make it into this video. But they were streamed, so if you're curious, it's there for you to watch. That being said, I do stream all my attempts, so if you want to watch someone mauled in real time, come hang out. If you made it all the way to this part of the video, I want to express appreciation and thanks for stopping by. And I hope you found it somewhat entertaining. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing, and let me know what you think of Dorothy and her vision of moral correctness. Catch me next time, where I face down some Sandy boys with a dragon brother who doesn't shut up and a spinning purple rat. Till next time.